2007, 8 years ago, we had an opportunity to launch into Rockford Sharefest by, over the spring break, transforming Froberg Elementary, Conklin Elementary, and the library at East High School. And as we think back to 2007, what was it like for the district then, both in terms of your facilities and finances?
Well, Craig, that was before my time as the superintendent or as an employee of the school district, but I sure lived in the region. And I remember vividly when Sharefest got off the ground. And I was as inspired as so many of the other thousands of people were when we launched that initiative. And it was such a dire need. I mean, I think our district was not only needing facilities, but we were also really badly in need of reconnecting to the community. And I think facilities really became a way to reconnect people with our school district. And the byproduct of that was just an amazing commitment to year after year coming back to make a difference in our facilities as well.
You know, so much has changed over the last 8 years, and I'm just thinking about teachers and students who are experiencing totally different facilities today. How are you seeing that change some of their experience inside of the school itself?
It's been dramatically changed. You know, one of the things I think Sharefest was instrumental in doing, in addition to the improvements on those 13 facilities that were actually touched, it changed our culture.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, we really started to have a different conversation about facilities, and we started, as Craig pointed out, with very basic, you know, let's get some paint on the walls here. Let's make sure that we don't have big holes in the parking lots. But we were able to have a conversation with our community, and the community really listened because so many members of our community had been in our schools. They had grabbed a paintbrush, they'd helped fix a window, or all the thousands of people that did all these amazing things over all the projects. So when it came time to ask for a facilities referendum, people knew there was real need there. And we shifted from this idea of needing help just to kind of get to the basics, which Sharefest did such a wonderful job of doing for us, to really letting us start to dream about what kind of a school district do we want to have in the 21st century. If we want our children, our teachers, and our staff to be able to compete around the world, what kind of investments do we need to be making into our facilities? And wow, this $250 million 10-year facilities plan that was recently passed, 75% of the vote. There's no way that happens without Sharefest.
You know, when we started Sharefest, our goal was never to create an institution. You know, it really was born out of the latent energy in a community of people who just wanted to bring help and hope into their city, you know? And it's not just, hearing you speak like that just makes me realize how significant that really has been lived out in the district's experience.
You know, I can't emphasize enough how significant that was. It really, I believe, laid the groundwork for so many transformational changes in our school district. Now, we have a long way to go. I'm not here to tell everyone that the plane has landed and everything is perfect, but we're making some real strides. And facility improvements were a big part of it, but people's attitudes changing about our children in our schools and our schools really changed.
Yeah.
And I think people look at us a lot differently now because they've rolled up their sleeves and been part of the solution. So movements like Alignment Rockford that have just really engaged our school. Really, you can really draw back to Sharefest as the point where the community said, you know what, these are our schools.
Yeah.
We may not like them the way they are right now, but who's going to fix them if we don't? And as we move forward, I do want to continue to challenge the community that while we are starting to get our act together when it comes to bricks and mortar and making the kind of investments we need to really have the kind of improvements that our students deserve, we need people to stay engaged in our school. That was the real lesson of Sharefest, was that engagement in the schools. It was the reconnection. We had lost connection with our community in a way that was not healthy. And so there are all kinds of ways to stay involved, whether it's volunteering at the Academy Expo, where literally every freshman in our district and a bunch of other regional schools now get an opportunity to think about what they want to do with the rest of their life while there's still plenty of time to make those choices. There are all kinds of young children out there that can benefit from adults reading to them. There are all kinds of powerful ways to volunteer and get involved, whether it's through Alignment Rockford, whether it's through Transform Rockford from more of a regional perspective, or through our parent community engagement department. Our arms are wide open. And we want people to feel welcome, whether it's at the high school level, all the way down to the early childhood level, and everything in between. We want people to be engaged in our schools because we'll get the schools we deserve as a community in terms of our effort. There's only so much we can do in 6 school hours a day.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
that larger commitment means everything to us. So we're so appreciative of what you've done so far, and we do not want to give anybody the impression that it's mission accomplished time and we should move away from the schools. It just feels good to move past the need on the facility standpoint, and that was just such wonderful, wonderful support that we received.